and expression. All right, that's it from me. Thank you very much.
Thank you Kak. By the way ini aku kasih tahu ya kalau Zoom kita ini diliput sama Bina Darma TV. Jadi ini di-share juga live di YouTube. Yeay.
Berarti Deliana udah famous ya, udah everyone knows who Deliana is now.
Sorry Kak, maaf ganggu, boleh minta linknya nggak? Ada, jadi bisa pada nonton nanti. Ada yang mau nonton soal hitam.
Oh iya, nanti linknya aku share di grup ya, link YouTube-nya.
Oke, makasih.
Oke, kita langsung aja ke finalis kedua ya, Rifki Saputra dengan tema The Success is to Kill Someone Else's Dream. Rifki, time is yours.
Sorry, am I audible?
Yes.
I have committed a murder. Not just once, but twice. Not just twice, but thrice. And possibly more. But I don't care about it. I feel really normal and as good as ever. And you know why? It's because I have killed someone else's dream. And I don't really care about it, just like the fact that this is a tomato sauce. Tasty. Now, ladies and gentlemen, people will not care about your dream. This is the reality that we're in. It's the society that we live on. Reality is not all about rainbows, cookies, or candies. It's about harsh reality that we live in. So wake up and see outside your windows that there are lots of people that don't give a care about your dream, just like me. But ladies and gentlemen, if we want to try to be success, of course, we need to kill our dream or someone else's dream. But don't judge me yet, because this speech are going to be based by 3 facts and reality that our society is in. The first one, people don't care about your dream. The second one, your expectations are just going to bring you more and more disappointment. And the third one, nowadays people are much more looking for an instant, fast, and easy way out of something, of an outcome, without putting much effort to it. Now, ladies and gentlemen, based on those facts, this speech is directed directly to you, especially to those who believe that dream can come true overnight. Well, if you believe that might happen and waiting for a miracle or magic to happen, you're wrong. They did not work that way, honey. They work much more filled with effort. And you need to make that effort. And I believe to be success is not just about having dreams, but it's about effort. And I will be gladly to become the bad guy, to make all of you realize that your dreams are not matters to all of us. So you have to wake up. And if you're still asking or maybe holding on to your dear dreams, well, let me read my list of why you need to forget about your dream. The first one, your lovers will not always be with you because you are just borrowing them. You are just borrowing someone else's soulmate. And your soulmate will only appear when God knows when. And the second one, your parents don't want you to be like that. Parents want you to be like a doctor or maybe a police officer that is guaranteed a success. The third one, your dream diploma or graduate title won't guarantee your success. Insiders will. Next one, all of your friends are fake, but money are not fake. Moving on, Comforting yourself with music and 9gag meme at 3 a.m. is the worst escapism ever. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the point why I telling you all of this in a harsh way is to make you realize that you have a dream only for yourself. Because if you are having a dream for fulfilling or appeasing someone else's expectations or happiness, then they just will kill your dreams for their success. And I'm here to make you realize that, so that you make a dreams only for you and your own selves, for your own happiness. And if you do that, I'll be proud. But if you making a dream only to appease someone else's dream, expectations, or happiness, well, I'm still kind of proud, but I believe it will be quite a pain and tiring for you. Ladies and gentlemen, the reality may be harsh, and people might kill your dreams for their own gain, but it's okay. Now let's mark this day as a funeral of our dreams, of fulfilling someone else's expectations and happiness, and declare this day as the birth of our new dream for our own happiness, our own success. Now, to close my speech, I will deliver you a very special quotes from Disney Cruella. People do believe in villain in life. They need a villain in their life. So I will be happy to fit in the bill. Thank you.
Dylan, you can start.
Thank you, Gustav.
Ladies first.
Hello, Rifki.
Hello, Kak.
I hope you're well. I really love your speech. Well, to be fair, I've loved your speeches since the prelim. We really do. You really are very creative, and that's one of the things that I personally love most about public speaking. I always say that public speaking is an art, and you're very able to paint a picture, which is a very beautiful thing to do. Well done to you for that, and I hope you continue down that path. My first criticism for you is, and this has been a criticism from the prelim as well, you have a good voice, but you need to put more power in it. You need to put more power in your voice. Yesterday I spoke on, I don't know if you're there, but I spoke on the power of 3, where as a public speaker, you have 3 voices. You have your starting voice, and then your voice when you go higher, and your voice when you go lower. But all 3 are audible and not annoying. Do you get my point? So when you start your speech, make sure you start at a point where it's easy to go higher and audibly higher, and it's easy to go down and audibly lower. Okay, so as a public speaker, you have to find that middle voice and always make sure you start from that voice so that you don't struggle to do either. And I feel like you need to find that middle voice, because you go higher, but it doesn't really sound like you've gotten higher that much. It's not significantly higher enough. You get my point? You get my point? Because you start so high already. So when you go low, sometimes you go a little bit, like we can't tell the difference. We can't tell when you've gone low because it's still a bit high. I hope you understand what I'm trying to say, right? And then that's one thing. Then the second thing for me was the prop usage. Use a piece of paper, and there was nothing written on it, right? Okay, but either way, if you do use a prop, make sure that it doesn't remove other elements of your speech. I understand that you holding that piece of paper was it was a gimmick, right? Like you're reading out a list. But I felt like, this is a personal thing, I don't know how Gustav will feel about it, but I felt like it kind of removed your gestures a little bit too much, because you're doing very well with the gestures, and then when you held the paper, as much as it was a gimmick, you removed a lot of gestures because you're holding that piece of paper, or it distracted you from your gestures. So I felt like the prop was a good touch, but could have been used more diligently without removing any other sources of or elements of your non-verbal communication or your performance, right? But in overall, it was a really good speech, and I always love listening. And this is not the first competition I've seen you speak, and please continue speaking. Thank you. That's it for me.
Thank you, Kak.
Okay. Hi, Rifki. Continue with your feedback from my end. First of all, Dylan has mentioned that you are the analogy type of speaker where you paint a picture for the listeners, which is really good. However, what's one of the hardest thing to do if you do go down that route is that your expressions need to be on point, like really on point. And this shows the quote unquote the showmanship of yourself. So one of the things that I feel like you were doing quite a lot is that when you are trying to show different emotions, you tend to speak louder when expression doesn't equal to speaking louder or speaking faster. There are various ways on how you can explore this sense. You just need to understand. For example, I'll get into the example later. I have a few points that can connect back to that. Next, I would say is you kind of sorry. Everyone around me decided to speak very loud today. Next is you kind of gave yourself like a handbrake. So in a car, in the sense that if you put on handbrake, you can go, but it would be very, very slow. So you're either deciding on whether you want to go or you want to brake. You're on that part where you feel like there were parts where I feel like you could have went all out, but you kind of shy away from that. I don't know why, but you kind of shy away from going all out in a certain dialogue or certain parts of your speech. So just let go, especially if you're doing an analogy or a picture type of speech. Next is this have different pacing between points. This is very self-explanatory, but again, your pacing was very, very similar throughout the whole speech. The only difference is, as I said, you tend to speak louder when you try to have different emotions. When showing expression can be showed by different pacing and pauses as well. Here's one of the examples. For example, when you mentioned the list, right? You had a few where your lover is just temporary, your parents want you to be a doctor, and what's one more? Can you remind me what's one more? I forgot.
The one with music and Nangek will not comfort you.
Okay, yeah, okay. So, so you want to create that that feeling of the listeners to feel like their life is falling or depleting away. Put it harshly, is that way, right? So that is the situation that you want to create. For example, let's say, ladies and gentlemen, look at your lover. They're not going to be there forever. You're just holding them on for other people. Speaking of other people, your parents, do they really want you to be the way you are? I'm sure they would love to have a son who's a doctor or a lawyer. And what's your escape? 9gag, memes? Don't make me. You know, if you want to go harsh, go harsh. Don't hold back to it, right? That is what makes a good speaker to a great speaker, when they know when to not hold back. If that is the intention of their speech, that was the intention of your speech, right? So use that, but don't use it throughout the speech, because we will feel bad about ourselves, right? Use it on that point and it will work way, way better. Okay, lastly, if you do want to go to the analogy route of speeches, that what I've mentioned before, this is basically a summary, is that you need to have that showmanship of yourself. Be more aware of how you say things, of how you express things, of when to be happy or when to be sad, when to be high and when to be low, when to be fast and when to be slow. You need to understand all of that to create an effective speech throughout, because the analogy type of speech will be very, very strong, but you need to know how to use it or else it will fail. All right, cool. That is all for my feedback. Once again, thank you, Rifki, for the speech. Good luck with your future endeavors, and yeah, we'll see what happens next. Thank you.
Thank you, Kak.
You're welcome.
Oke, thank you Kak. Kita langsung aja ya ke Jeff Kavali dengan tema The World Revolves Around Me.
Okay, everyone, am I audible and visible?
Yes.
Okay.
Committees, can you please spotlight Jeff?
Okay. Imagine this book is a burden. You are given a lot of books since life always gets a way to surprise you. Another one, because you're too kind to reject the request from your friend. Oh, it's from your best friend. They're so kind to you, so you decided to help them too. Another one, because they're your siblings, you live together, we are family. So you decided to help and figure what is the way. Are this heavy? It is. But can you carry this alone? No. Then why don't you say stop? Too many books, too many problems, it's too heavy. Ladies and gentlemen, to reject those books, to say stop when someone gives you the books, it's okay. It's not selfish. We have our own problems. We are also struggling with our own obstacles. It's going to be very exhausting if you keep accepting those books. The world is not only revolves around them, it revolves around every of us. And your problem is not less important than your colleagues, your family, your partners. And some people will say, you cannot handle those kind of problems. So weak. No, that is not weak. You are capable of doing many things. But it is an unnecessary thing to keep helping them, especially when you feel tired, unwell. So you reject those books and focusing on yourself. Me, my own problem, my own problem. I got a lot of my plate, I don't want to help anyone else. Is that good? No, that is not good. A grandson asked his 85 years old grandma. They were discussing about the choices. Every kid can choose whatever they want. Every kid can be whatever they want. They can refuse to help people. It's really important for every kid to save themselves, to just be themselves, prioritize themselves. But the grandma said, no, that is selfish, honey. You cannot do that. Yes, you're probably busy, you got a lot on your plate, but it doesn't mean you can be ignorant person. Remember people who helped you, respect those who loves you. You cannot be selfish. The grandson was too stunned to speak. The grandma got the point. Yes. If you wonder who is the grandma and the grandson, yeah, the grandson is me, obviously. Yeah, we cannot be that selfish. We must help people too. Doesn't mean we totally ignore them all. Ladies and gentlemen, another thing that you need to remember. It is okay. And let's imagine a two-seated bike. You ride, and back there, let's say your partners. You cannot cycle alone. So does the person at the back. If you ride alone, it's going to be shaky, wobbling, and you fell down. And if the chain is broken, you cannot just like, okay, you do it, I'm gonna chill, I'm gonna drink, you fix it. You both need to fix the bike in order to keep going. Je ne suis pas la petite de cette planète. I'm not the little prince in the planet. The world, you are not the sun and I'm not the earth. The world does not revolve around you. Neither of us is the center of the galaxy. That's all. Thank you.
Okay, Jeff, thank you. Wait, I think something went wrong with Dylan. But yeah, I'll give you your feedback now. Hold up, yeah. And let me finish writing a bit. Okay, so here are my feedbacks for you. First of all, good job on the speech. Really well made, full of personalities and full of power, which is really good. However, these are my feedbacks for you. First of all, the opening of the books was a bit too long, in a sense that it could be more concise, in the sense that, for example, let's say these are books. First of all, let's say your problem, other people's problem, flop, 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 heavy, isn't it? You keep taking other people's problems without focusing on your own. When to say no and when to say yes. That could be way stronger rather than explaining every single book that was given. Might as well want to put all of the books all together. Right? Okay, so that was the first one. The opening with the book was a bit too long. Could have been more concise. Next, it's because you were going really strong with the emotions, with the expressions, with the intonation. When you are thinking of what to say next, it's really obvious that you were trying to figure out what to say next. Because you were like, yeah, so ladies and gentlemen, what I'm trying to say is that, well, you know, it's kind of obvious that you're trying to, again, this is me with my, I should say, I have previous experience in public speaking. So these things are I can see these things, right? So this is something that you need to improve on. If you feel like you're not 100% confident within your speech, try to tone it down so that it's not that obvious. Don't try to cover your mistakes by going with more power. Instead, have it how should I say, have it good throughout rather than one going up and then the fall is very noticeable, right? Make sure going up the ladder is better than going up and down like a roller coaster, right? So that's the second one. The third one, since I'm a theatrical person, this is something that I feel like somewhat important, especially in those with like theatrical ears, is that the grandma sounded a lot like a man. Um, could have been more shaky and more ladylike in the voice. I know it's 2021, everyone can identify as what they want, but in the general consensus of things, usually a grandma is a female, right? So, back in my day, have that higher pitch of a voice and more shaky. So, you don't have to explain that, oh, well, the grandma said this. No. With the voice difference, it can be clear. Okay? Next is using other language is really good. Is a really good way of using it. However, make sure you don't slip up, right? Because it sounded like you're using Google Translate to get there. I don't know if you're using Google Translate or whether you really know French, but it can be rather risky if you're not overall confident with using other languages. But it's a good tactic to have, but make sure you really understand the pronunciation, you understand how to say it, and you don't sound too cocky with it first thing. And lastly, your closing did not sound like a closing because you directly said, that's it, right? That is because you did not show any indication that you were going to close your speech. In that sense, that the power was overall the same from the beginning, from the beginning to the end. Whereas nearing the end or the transition to the end, it should have less power than you have in the opening, but the overall impact is still the same. I always view a speech as some sort of like a candle. First of all, you light it with your opening, then you keep it burning, and instead of letting the fire die for the closing, you burn that fire even more. All right, so that's how you view public speaking. Instead of dying it down and dimming it down, leave it on a high, leave it on a good, right? Instead of trying to extinguish the fire. And those fire extinguishers are usually introductions. Thank you for listening. Over exaggerated thank yous, etc., etc. So try not to or directly say that's it. Those are the fire extinguishers or the speech killers, right? Okay, so overall, that's my feedback for you. Congratulations once again, Jeff. Great job on the speech. And yeah, we'll see what happens next. Everyone else.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I don't know if Dylan is coming back or committees. Kita gimana ini?
Ini terserah Mak sama Kak Gustaf atau kita lanjut aja nggak apa-apa Kakak?
Si Dylan bisa ditelepon nggak?
WhatsApp-nya nggak aktif Kak.
Kalau telepon nomornya? Dia di luar ya nomornya. Never mind. Nggak ada live ya berarti internetnya kayaknya mati. Ya udah. Ya udah, I guess bisa lanjut sih. Daripada lama lagi. Nggak tahu juga baliknya kapan baru.
Oke, jadi lanjut aja ya Kak.
Oke, kita langsung aja ke area Bati ya langsung. It's my time, next yours. Time is yours.
What are these grades? How am I failing so miserably? Is that a 60? How? We sometimes fail, but my question is, Why do we fail? Why do you fail? Oh, it's because of my teachers. Oh, it's because of my parents. Oh, it's because of the dogs. Oh, it's because of my cat. We often make excuses for ourselves. Am I right? Yeah, it is. And how about this? We wake up in the morning, look ourselves dead in the eyes, in the mirror, and say, every failure that you made, every mistake you did, and everything that led up to this is your and mine fault. It's our fault and our fault alone. So rather than blaming other people on why we failed, we should focus that energy to making us succeed. So the next day, we wake up, we look ourselves dead in the eye in the mirror once again and say, I will change. This is my time, not nobody else's. It's mine, and I will change. I will become better. Yes, that is what we need to do. Because often we focus on others too much, starting to compare ourselves with them. When in actuality, it's our time, it's our lives, it's our moment. And we should find something to be passionate about, to follow through in life. Be it making money or not, we should find something to do every Monday, every Tuesday, every Wednesday, every Thursday, and every Friday. Our passion. Because if we don't go through with the things we love, with the things that we are passionate about, what will we be in 10 years? What will we be in 20? Will we just be in our houses alone and sad, wondering why didn't I go through with it? That's not a regret that I want to leave in my life. So change, leave with a mark, leave with a change. Say it yourself, I want to change. I want to change for the better, for me and for myself alone. I know it hurts. It hurts. Failure hurts. It hurts when we study tons. It hurts when we miss our family gatherings, our friends, our games, our social media. I know it hurts. It does. But you know what else hurts? It's when we don't graduate. It's when you get bad grades. It's when you fail. So my question here is, would you rather feel the pain of success, or would you rather suffer and be miserable because of your loss and because of your failures? Which one would you pick? Personally, I would rather go through with my plan. Everything there is on this. Be public speaking or anything. You should go through with everything that you want to, because it's your time, not anyone else's. So when someone tries to talk you out about this or that or this or that, remember, it's your life. It's your choice. And you could lose money and gain it back. But time, you could lose time, but you could never gain it back. That 1 hour you used to play some games, that will never return to you. That 1 hour in your life is gone. Spend your time wisely, because it will never return. And whenever you're failing a class or a game or even a basketball or a soccer game, you could just say, this is my time to shine. This is my time, not anyone else's. I have to make a change.
All right. Thank you, Arya, for the opening for starting the feedback first. Okay. I have a few. First of all, good job, Arya. The emotion, the power was really there. I could feel the tension, not the tension, but like the overall power of your speech itself. So good job on that sense. However, of course, there are always room for improvements. First of all, is your eye contact. You tend to look. For example, there are moments where you were looking to the side while doing your bit, of course, but you kind of look that way a bit too long, or you kind of look over the camera a bit too long. So try to have not balance, but try to direct your eyesight back to the camera or back to the laptop where you can feel part of your speech, because it's a slap hitting speech, I would say, right? It's for people to realize that it's my time, not everyone else's. So make sure you focus on the camera more or the audience more for them to further understand that you're talking to them, that you're slapping them in the face. Right? Next is your emotions and expressions. Though they were good, but it was very similar throughout the whole speech itself. It was angry. It was very dominated with angry and with the inspirational touch of it. However, when you're being inspirational, it doesn't have to be like on your face, like you need to change, you need to change. No. Whereas on these changes or like these inspirational type of speeches, you try to tone down a bit. So you don't sound that you know everything about everything. Right. So for example, let's say the sentence is, you know, so, ladies and gentlemen, it is your time. It is your time to achieve your dreams. It is your time to go through, to follow through with everything that you've wanted in life. And ladies and gentlemen, it's your time, not everyone else's. See, that would be stronger in this, rather than it's your time, it's your time, it's your time, not everyone else's, it's your time, right? So don't have to be angry or doesn't have to be shouty all the time throughout, right? Next, the usage of it hurts is really good. You there was there are some good usage of repetition in words, I would say, and the usage of it hurts was really well done, because again, it's a sentence that, or it's a phrase that you really want people to understand, that it hurts not graduating, it hurts not this, it hurts not that. That's great. However, other repetition that you did was a bit too redundant and doesn't have the same impact. Those words are, or well, the main two words are failures and go through. Those two words were repeated way too much. Like, failure, it includes failing, fail, words that has fail in it. It was repeated a bit too much of it. So try to have other words like, expand your vocabulary, or words that are still relating to failure, for example. Not succeeding, even that would still have more impact than you using failures over and over again. Go through in the sense that find more helping vocabularies, I would say. And lastly, this goes with the emotions, but your closing, it doesn't feel like a closing because your emotions were still the same. The intonation was still that high throughout, right? Including the end of the closing of your speech itself. So I've mentioned again in the previous speaker as well, is that, imagine it being a candle, and you're by the way you're saying it, the fire did not dim or did not die down. However, when you get to the closing, you kind of blew that light away instead of it slowly dying down. It's better for it to die down slowly rather than you blowing the candle off, analogically, of course. So, however, do avoid those two things. But again, in this case, your closing could be, you could reiterate, not reiterate, but you could do your closing way slower so that we understand that you're going to your closing. Um, and yeah, it's about to be the last part of your speech. For example, what was your closing? Sorry, can you remind me, Arya?
So, it's your choice to go alone, and like it's time for you to change.
Yeah. See, because again, it's because that you went so high that it doesn't have the same impact. When I gave the example that I did previously, is like, you know, so ladies and gentlemen, it is your time to make a change, and you have the full decision. Right? Slow it down, tone it down. Right? Okay, cool. That's all for my feedback for you, Arya. I'm sure Dylan would have similar or even a few more pointers, but I feel like this is something that you can improve on. Again, your emotions are there. You just need to be able to tone it down and understand which situation you're going for instead of having the same intonation throughout the speech. All right? All right. Cool. Thank you, Arya.
Okay, thank you for the judges and thank you for amazing performance by Arya Bhakti. And we are continue with last finalist, Santo Eric, with the title Guiding Light in Sheer Darkness. Santo Eric, time is yours.
Wait a minute. Can you listen to my voice? It's actually raining outside, so I'm afraid that you will disturb my voice. Okay.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, I can hear you and we can see you.
Everyone needs a motivation. It doesn't matter who you are, we all need a motivation. But giving others a motivation, it's not an easy thing to do. It is actually quite difficult. Giving others a motivation is not an easy thing to do because first, we need to know the reason why they need our motivation. We need to know the reason why they need to be motivated. Look at this. Everyone's, including you and I, we always wanted to have a great life. When you wake up in the morning, you wish for having a great day. But you have to know, in reality, sometimes everything not goes as what you expected. Sometimes you're having a trouble in your life, you're getting sad, depression, you're suffering, you're having a hard time. Now, let's assume if all of this hard time, the depression, the sadness, as the darkness, and then you and everyone fell to the darkness, you got into the darkness. Now, what you're going to do when you're in the darkness? You need to find the light. You need to find the light that will show you the way. You need to find the light that will show you and lead you to the way out and will help you to get out of it. But what if you couldn't find the light? What are you going to do? You need to create the light. Creating light in sheer darkness. Creating light in sheer darkness is eventually just a very simple word. Many people already know about it. They probably already have their own assumption about what's the meaning of it by only listening to it. But not many people knows the deeper meaning of it. Light are the representation of happiness. It's just the representation of something that we love. That is the light. And on the other hand, darkness are the representation of our sorrow. Just the representation of something that we don't like. Sadness, fear, death, chaos, just something that we all hate. And then, we're too young to understand this. Because what I'm talking about is about problems in life. You're probably getting confused about problems in life because like what I said earlier, we're probably too young to understand this. But in the future, when we get into society, when we're finally graduated from college, we had a job, we had our new family, we're going to face all of this. I can guarantee that there's always going to be a moment in your life when you got depressed and having a hard time. But again, I'm not trying to scare you about your life, no. I'm not trying to like intimidate you about how cruel life is going to be in the future. But the reason why I'm telling you this is because I want to build you, not only you, me too, and everyone, so we could create our own light. That's the reason why I'm telling you this. Because we have to know something, that darkness is eventually, it's not exist by itself. The darkness will exist because the absence of light, which means it happens when someone lost something precious to them. It could be a thing or someone. When their lover left them alone, when they got fired, when, you know what, they're just having debt, they're having a family problem. That is the reason why people are having a hard time and problems in life. And now, how to create light on someone. First thing, this is the only way. It's by sharing love and give others motivation. Do you remember earlier that I mentioned a little bit about giving others a motivation that is difficult? Now you can do it because now you understand the problem, that the problem is on the problem's life. And you also can share love. Let the voice of love take you higher. You can share them, like when someone's getting sad, just cheer them up. You can bring them into some vacation. You can give them something precious to do. You also just try to cheer them up. That is the only way. And also you can motivate them so they could be better and they forget about this. That is the first thing that you can do. But what if we are the one who fell into the darkness? Now it's on ourselves. What we're going to do. I don't want to get too far into someone. Just start from ourselves. What we're going to do. First thing is just be positive. Don't be panicked. Don't be panicked. Just try to be positive and think the right way to get out of it. That is the first way. You can start by actually praying. You can ask by praying to our Creator, so He could help us with our problem. That's the first way. And then second, we live in society. We have other people around us. Don't think that you can do everything by yourself. You can start also by their help. You can ask them to cheer you up. That's it. And then don't think about it really much. Just try to forget it. Just try to erase those memories from your mind. That is the way on how you could create your own light. And again, remember, in life, we're going to live in society. And actually, the darkness that I kept saying about the problem is life, it's something that is actually exists. It's not only for you, but it's for everyone. So from now on, we need to create our light, not only for us, but also for others. So creating light in shared darkness is a very interesting thing to do, and it's also important. So from now on, create your light. My name is Santo. Thank you very much.
Hi, Santo. Hold up here. Let me finish writing your feedback. Okay. Hi. Okay, cool. First of all, thank you for the speech. Congrats on making it to the final round. Again, you do have power within your speech. You have you have the voice for it. However, what you need to understand more is towards the the other spectrum of speaking, which is the pacing, intonation, and articulation. So first of all, for the pacing, right? The only two pace you have within your speech is normal and fast. Whereas in a speech, there's slow, normal, fast, extra slow. So there's a plethora of pacing you can do. So do explore more on how you can say certain things or how fast you should say certain things, because it has a different impact. It has different different overall power. The faster you say something or the slower you say something, it has different impact. For example, let's say a sentence is can buy me coffee. I would say let's say a sentence is can buy me coffee. So if you say it fast, and a lesson for you is, so ladies and gentlemen, can buy me coffee. it doesn't have impact, right? But as if you say, so ladies and gentlemen, can you buy me coffee? See? Different, right? Different power, different impact. That is what you need to understand. Next is your intonation, of course, because your pacing was very similar throughout. Your intonation was similar as well throughout, whereas you can go up and down in a few statements or in a few points that you've made. Goes with it. For example, let's say the classic sentence is, "The world is dying." Right? You won't say, "So, ladies and gentlemen, the world is dying." No, but you would say it in a different intonation and a different pacing. In this case, is, "So, ladies and gentlemen, the world is dying." Right? You go slower and you go down for that extra kill shot, I would say. Next, are you sitting down, Kamti, or are you standing?
Yes, I'm sitting right now. I'm not standing, I'm sitting.
Okay. It would be better if you are able to stand with your speech. Hence, we can see more gestures and more body movements from you. Because if you're sitting, we can see your arm is going this way, like leaning to a table, or going a bit front, which kind of limits your movements, right? So standing means your arms are to the side, which means you can move a bit more freely, right? So that is why most speeches, whether it be online or offline, are standing for more room movements for you, for your hands, for your body, for your head, even for your legs, more movements. And the other reason why most people stand up during a speech is because they have a more solid voice. If they stand up, their voice becomes more, I don't know what's the English for it, but it's more bullet. It's more clear, articulated better. Okay, so that a good way for you to do speeches, standing up would be a better way for you to do it rather than sitting down. Next is going to the solution, I would say, or the solution of your speech itself. Don't say the first way, the second way, the third way. That does not need to be explained. It's the same energy as like saying first, second, and lastly. It's not needed. It kills the message of your speech. Not the message, but it kills the vibe of your speech if you have that sort of bridging, if you have that sort of transition towards it. So just directly go into what you can do instead of saying the first solution, the second solution, and then the third solution. And then lastly, I would say is you don't need to reintroduce yourself at the end of it. Just close the speech. It's fine. We won't deduct your points if you don't introduce yourself, so you don't have to worry about it. Just close it. You don't have to introduce yourself again. You don't have to say where you're from. You don't have to say thank you for listening. You didn't, but this is for something you can avoid in the future. You don't need to do those things for your ending. Just end it directly. It would be totally fine. All right. Okay. Well, yeah, those are my feedbacks for you. Again, kind of sad that Dylan is not here for your feedback as well. But yeah, that is the feedback that I can give you. Once again, congratulations on making it to the final round. And yeah, as like other participants, we'll see what happens next. Right? Thank you, Santa.
Okay, thank you for judges, and thank you for amazing performance by all finalists. And for the winner, announcement will be announced tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. together with closing ceremony, because we don't have any schedule anymore for today. And you may leave the meeting and wait for the result tomorrow morning. And thank you and see you. Bye-bye.
Thank you so
Thank you,
much.
everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you.
Recording stopped.